Have you ever wondered what fish are biting on the beach in June? Or maybe you've been watching everybody else catch and going home empty-handed when you're fishing the beach. In this video, I'm going to share with you everything you want to know about beach fishing in June in Florida. And if you're new here, my name is Kathy Sanders. I'm a beach fishing guide here in Northeast Florida, and I put out monthly beach fishing tips videos just like this one every month of the year, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Here's a tip for you when you're fishing a low-impact beach. Just arrived here at Vilano Beach, and it's pretty close to low tide. I want to show you something here that's going to help you know where to set up so that you can get on more fish. So I'm going to turn the camera around here. So we've got the ocean there. You've got these little runways of water coming down all along the beach. At low tide, you're going to be able to tell where the cuts are because you're going to look at these water running and look at where it's running into the ocean. So right over here, do you see this? Looks like a little river cutting right through this sand. And this area, by the way, is going to be really good to fish at high tide because as the water comes up, fish are going to be holding up in these little holes. Look for the spots that are deeper. You can mark it right on your GPS so you know right where to go when you come back. But don't wait too long because these sands are going to shift week to week, and when there's a storm, it's going to be different. But look at this right here. So this is called the cut. All the way out through there, there's deeper water. This is where the cut is. Now you don't want to set up right in the middle of this cut. You're going to want to set up maybe 15 yards this way, 15 yards that way. You're going to be targeting the predator fish that are hanging out on the sides of the cuts. You can watch these videos all day long. You can read articles and books, but it's not going to replace the training you're going to get one-on-one with a professional. Beach fishing is a lot of fun, and it's very different from any other kind of fishing. We're doing a summer pricing deal so that you can get on the fish. I'll show you what to do, teach you as much or as little as you want. Get your charter booked, get it scheduled before they're all booked up. June is kind of a different month because our waters are starting to heat up. We're starting to lose those winter fish because it's just not cold enough for them anymore. They're moving on to other colder places. We've caught plenty of pompano though in the month of June, but you will have some residential pompano that are going to stick out around year-round. They're usually smaller. They're usually not keeper size. They're, you know, maybe in the juvenile stage. Remember, you do have to measure them, know your state regulations. Here in Northeast Florida, they have to be 11 inches to the fork in the tail in order to keep them. June is also a fantastic month to be catching nice keeper whiting. Some of the other months of the year, they're smaller, but right now you can expect to be catching whiting that are maybe 14 to 16 inches and bringing home a whole cooler full. So check out these pictures. A couple years ago, my friend and I were out in June, brought home 50 fish in one day between the two of us. And these weren't tiny little fish. We were throwing them back if they were less than 12 inches. We were also seeing a lot more sharks. In June and previous years, we were catching a lot of bonnetheads, we were catching scalloped hammerheads, Atlantic sharpnose, we were catching black tips, lots of different sharks, stingrays. Check out all these pictures of all the sharks and stingrays that we were catching. In June, I noticed we started catching a whole mixed bag of lots and lots of different types of fish. So in previous Junes, we were catching jack crevalle, we were catching palometa and permit, a lot of bait fish like croaker, spotfish. Of course, there's catfish on the dirty water days. And if you're lucky, you might be catching flounder, redfish, and even the occasional sheep's head like I caught a few years ago. And for one of our pro tips today, I'm going to show you 3 different types of whiting. So I'm going to overlay some pictures here. Now we say the word whiting, but that encompasses 3 different species of fish. You've got the Gulf kingfish, you've got the southern kingfish, and the northern kingfish. The Gulf kingfish has a really silvery body. It's got that black tip on the tap of its tail. That's how you're going to know you've got a Gulf kingfish. Now we catch a lot of southern kingfish here. I was actually confusing them in previous videos with the northern kingfish, but look here at the southern kingfish. You've still got some distinct striped patterns here, but it's not as distinctive as the northern kingfish. So take a look at this northern kingfish. Look at those stripes. We don't see too many like this And it confuses a lot of people because when they catch one, they see the stripes and they're like, what in the world kind of fish is this? It's still a whiting. All three of these we call whiting, but there's three actual species of fish that we call whiting. So there's something you may not have known before. And one more pro tip is that you need to study fish identification, because if you take a look at these pictures here, there are 4 species of fish that a lot of people confuse with pompano. So of course we've got our pompano. You see pictures here of pompano, but you've also got the jack crevalle. You've also got the palometa, and you've also got the permit. So if you take a look at these pictures, and we're gonna put them up side by side, there's some really distinctive differences between all of these fish. So all of them have different regulations. For instance, palometa doesn't have any regulations. Pompano, they have to be 11 inches to the fork in the tail. Jack crevalle, they don't have any regulations either, but the permit does. So you've got to pay attention to these regulations and the fish identification. Know what fish you're catching before you bring it in, and that way you're not gonna be keeping an illegal fish by accident. Next, we're gonna talk about the bait and rigs to use in the month of June, but you know what I'm gonna do? I need to get some lines in the water, so I'm gonna put this camera on my little neck piece, and I'm gonna show you what I'm rigging up with. Instead of just talking about these baits and rigs, we're gonna get them in the water and show you what I'm using. So let's get to it. It's gonna be a little different because I don't usually do this, but we're mixing the bait and rigs together. So we're gonna put out a couple rigs. I'm gonna start with a pink rig because this water is looking nice and clean to me. So pinks and oranges with your rigs are gonna be great colors for clean water. Pinks, oranges, red too sometimes. Maybe you have a rig that's like mixed, that's got oranges and pinks, or pinks and yellows. Those are all, as long as it's got some pink on there. So we're gonna actually put a pink sinker on here too. I don't need 4 ounces, but I want the distance when I'm casting. We're gonna need some lines farther out, but not too bad. We're at low tide here, so we should be able to cast it out pretty far. But I'm gonna start with one of our most basic baits ever is shrimp. So let me get one of these guys out. Here's a tip here. You don't want to put this whole thing on this hook because you've got pompano that have tiny little mouths. They won't be able to fit, especially a really big shrimp, they're not going to be able to fit their mouth around it. So here's what I do. It's a little gruesome, but we're going to take the shell part of the head off and then pinch that tail off. Try to keep the meat. Now I'm breaking this shrimp in half, and I'm gonna thread it on the hook here, just like this. You're gonna go through the body and up through those legs. You wanna keep those legs on there because the legs attract the fish also. Okay, so now we threaded both pieces on, but what I'm gonna do is secure it with a piece of fish gum. So we're just setting up, so I don't know what flavor the fish are gonna want today. So I've got a piece of sand flea. I'm gonna put the orange out because I want to get attention with the orange to make it look like sand flea eggs. And we'll look for sand fleas in a minute. The cut right there is a great place to look for them. And we're gonna use this Pomp Candy fish gum. I'm gonna put the pink side out because clean water might be good with the pink. So, all right, and now I'm gonna cast this one out as far as I can go. Just keep you with me while I'm casting as well. In the next month's video, we're gonna do some casting technique tips. So that now you can just watch it sailing out into the water. There we go. Pretty good distance. Here's another tip. When you're bringing this back, hold the line and then put your bail down. Tighten this down so that you have tension on the top of the line. I'll show you that in a minute. You want tension, and then you're gonna loosen it up just a bit to where if a shark or something comes on, bigger fish, they're gonna be able to pull that drag. So this is what you want that to look like. You want tension on the top of that line, and we'll be able to see it really easily when there's a fish on. For rig number 2, I'm gonna pick a dirty watercolor, but one that's still bright. So I'm gonna pick this yellow here. So whether it's clean or dirty, they're gonna see this yellow. Greens and yellows are great really anytime. And we've even caught pompano on the green rigs, on the yellow. We caught them on all colors. Even in the dirty water, if there's any of them venturing in, they're gonna see the greens and the yellows better because scientifically, those colors cut through murky waters, dirty waters much better. But here we go, we're gonna put this, and I've just tied the swivel on. If you're new to surf fishing, learn the, I did the clench knot in a previous episode, so you can learn how to do that clench knot. It's very simple. For this one, I'm just gonna do a 3-ounce sinker. Now, if you could see there, I don't want my swivel that high because if it gets up in the eyelets, then it can either break the rig off or damage the eyelets. So I try to keep about 6 inches below the top eyelet. And this is a Cast King rod. You can see right here it has this strike tip, strike detection tip. I really like this, especially if you're fishing in low light conditions, you're gonna be able to see it better. So to keep this simple, I'm just gonna put fish gum on these. I've already got these pre-cut. That can save you some time at the beach. And because I'm using my float rigs that I tie, put the link up here to our store, but I'm keeping these really small. I mean, sometimes we're gonna catch fish just on fish gum only. And pompano really like these floats. They're gonna be attracted to the floats. They bite the floats before they bite the hooks. All right, we got line number 2 ready. You can see there's a lot of tension on the top of that. That's a fast action rod, so it bends a lot at the top. All right, we're gonna take a little break from putting lines out. I'm gonna look for some sand fleas. Okay, we've got some sand fleas. Oh, there's one in the corner. Buddy, gotta get out. Okay, for our next setup, we're gonna use sand fleas. These guys that I just caught here. And I'm gonna use our silver rig because I love this rig. It's more of a gray, but this thing catches fish, whether it's clean water or dirty water. I'm gonna put another 3-ounce Sputnik. Now these are our Sputniks that we sell through Redfin Fishing. This is 3-ounce, but it's gonna hold up to the same strength as 4s by the other guys. Jason over at Redfin, he pours the lead himself, so he knows the quality of what's going into it. Most people do not pour the lead themselves. They act like they do, but they don't. You know, I'm gonna put this big guy. I would typically throw these big guys back, but I want these eggs exposed, and I'm gonna put it on the bottom one. I feel like some of these bigger fish are scoping out the bottom to see what they can find. And then I want this medium one. I'm gonna tear his tail off also. And I'm just threading these through the bottom, up through the top, through the shell, leaving the eggs exposed. And then I think it's only right that we use fish gum that's flavored like sand fleas. So I've got these pre-cut. I don't have all of them pre-cut. I wish I did, because it takes a bit to get them cut up. All right, and then of course we're putting that orange out to mimic the eggs. All right. I think I will also put this one out far. So I've got these 2 far out. I've got that one close. I'm gonna have another one close. Sometimes you're overcasting because all the fish are up close, so make sure you have one that's really close. Okay, I've got one more line to get in the water. I was talking with some people and they were asking me about ghost shrimp. So ghost shrimp, you have to have a pump to get them out. You've got to extract them from the little holes that you see with the bubbles coming out of them. But that's excellent, excellent bait for beach fishing. What we're gonna do with this one, this is a rig I haven't used in a while. We can get away with it today because it's super calm. If it's really wavy, there's a strong current, you won't be able to do this, it would get dragged. This is a double pyramid sinker, 6-ounce. I've got a hook here that's snelled, and I'm just gonna put a live shrimp on here. Okay, so we're gonna put a live shrimp on here, and whenever I do it this way, it never works out too well, but we're gonna let him crawl around. So I'm gonna put this hook through the hard part of his tail. And when I say it never works out, like usually the fish will bite up to the hook and then they won't bite the fish or the hook. We'll put a little tiny piece of bait on there. Two purposes. If something does bite that off, then we still have some bait. But this is also going to keep him from coming off. And honestly, I'm going to throw this really, really short. And we'll see exactly how strong the undercurrent is. This is a good way to tell. Because if it's moving this around at 6 ounces, this double pyramid will let it roll a little bit, but not too much. But see, now that shrimp will have the freedom to move around a little bit. So, which is what we want. We want him to be able to move around, let that wave pass. And I'm just tossing him out to where, look, the waves start breaking, right behind it. So that one is gonna be straight up and down compared to the others. May trick me out, but we'll see what happens. One bait I didn't talk about yet is salted shrimp. I make this salted shrimp. I actually have some for sale in our store right now. And that's gonna, as soon as it's sold out, it's gone. I'm not keeping it around. I just did it to get rid of some extra shrimp that I had on hand, but when you salt it, it toughens it up and it has all the scent, so it doesn't smell bad. It's preserved, so you can use this bait over and over. I've been able to use the same piece a lot just because it's gonna stay on the hook and sometimes the fish doesn't even get it. So we got salted shrimp is another choice of bait. This may not be a bait, but you always wanna have a casting rod with a lure handy, because if you start seeing bait moving in the water, you start seeing fish running up and down the beach like in lots of movement, that's probably fish chasing a pot of bait fish. So you can throw that casting lure right into your, I like to use a spoon, like a 3/4 or a 1 ounce spoon. And usually you can hook up on ladyfish, Spanish mackerel, bluefish, any of those type of fish that like to chase their bait. Super, super fun way to fish. Also, when it comes to rigs for June, as you can tell, the most common one that I like to use is a double drop rig or a pompano rig. Now, if you are getting bit off by sharks and you've got your shark fishing license, you got to make sure you got your shark fishing license, FWC shark fishing course. It's super helpful because it talks about safe handling tips for sharks and also shark identification. So you want to make sure you go through that course. Even if you're not planning to target sharks a lot, it's a great course to take. So I encourage you to do that, but you're going to want to have like some type of shark fishing rig to put out there on a really hefty rod with a good reel that has a lot of drag, because if you get a big shark on it, it'll tear up one of your normal rods and reels. Could break it off too, and you don't want that to happen. One tip is if you do get on a fish in the summer months, you want to reel as fast as you possibly can, because those sharks are there waiting. They see a fish in distress, they're going to start biting on it, and you want to get that fish landed before the tax man takes it from you. All of you ladies watching it, if you're looking for some fishing friends, go to Facebook, look up Fishin Girl Women's Fishing Club. We've got almost 10,000 ladies now who are in there wanting to find their fishing friends. So connect up with ladies in your area, and if you really want to go deeper and have in-person meetups and all these kind of things that we're planning for Fishin Girl Nation, go check out fishinggirlnation.com. And we're having so much fun already. We're just starting there. We're gonna be doing a cruise next year, and our members are gonna get that cruise information first, and they're gonna get the chance to sign up before anyone else. You don't wanna miss all the fun things we're doing at Fishin Girl Nation. So go check out the website and join the nation. When it comes to summer and talking about weather and water temperatures, a couple things you really want to watch out for. First of all, make sure you got your sunscreen on, because if you don't, you're going to be scorched and you're going to be in a lot of pain. Make sure you have sun protection too, so you can have a sun shirt with you, but you want to make sure that you're protected from the sun. Personally, I can't wear long pants typically on the beach or I'll get overheated. But there is a brand called Fishy, and I've had their long pants on when it's been hot before, and actually those kept me cool, surprisingly, even though they were full-length leggings. But now that the water is warming up, we're looking at like a low 80s in the beginning of June, and by the end of June the water is going to be probably mid to upper 80s, so those pompano are not going to be comfortable anymore. They're going to start migrating to the Carolinas. The good thing about the water being warmer is you can wade out a little bit to cast. You'll be able to get your line out there even further, but just watch out for those sharks. Also in the summer months, you've got to watch out, especially in the afternoon. We seem to have thunderstorms almost every afternoon. It's just like clockwork. And so watch out for those pop-up storms. I've gotten caught in a storm before and it was not fun. All my equipment got soaked. You've got really long poles here, really long rods, and lightning. It doesn't mix very well. So we are on the beginning of hurricane season. So we typically don't see hurricanes in June, but it's possible. So be aware of that, be watching for storms. Fishing can be really good right before a storm, but you don't want to get caught in it. So just be careful and watch the radar, watch all of the reports, and make sure you're staying safe. One really interesting thing to note is that May and June, you could actually hook up on a tarpon from the beach. And yes, I said a tarpon. I've hooked up on a tarpon before. I showed that last month. We're sitting here at May 22nd when I'm recording this. Just a couple days ago, we saw a tarpon jumping out of the water. The dolphins are jumping! Yes! The dolphins are jumping! Yes! Everyone told me, which I did not do, is bow to the king. So you want to let that line be loose while it's jumping and then reel again when it's back in the water. I have not caught a tarpon yet, but one day I will. I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you have found it helpful, please push that like, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our other videos. We're going to be doing fishing of a lot of different types now. I've just started breaking into fresh water, been catching some nice bass in my neighborhood ponds, which is super fun. And like I said, if you want to take your beach fishing experience to the next level and your knowledge, book a fishing charter with me and we'll get you out here, give you some first-hand experience. And ladies, join Fishin Girl Nation. You don't want to miss out on any of the fun things that we're going to be doing, finding your fishing friends. But for now, till next month, tight lines and God bless.